you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy. Pierre, how are you?
I'm excellent. How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm good. Well, a little bummed about my Patriots, but other than that, they lost.
I think you guys had quarterback issues. It should have been disclosed.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Drake May definitely looked like he was playing hurt, and it turned out he was. But hey, he toughed it out. I'll give him that.
He showed a lot of courage. Got to give Seattle a lot of credit. Seattle's a good football team. There's a pretty good lesson to be learned for executives and fans in all sports. Sam Darnold turned out to be pretty good.
Yep.
Because everybody wanted instantaneous gratification.
I was thinking about that last night, Pierre, and I thought of a hockey player like that who's having great success now, and that's Morgan Geekie, the Boston Bruins.
Well done, Jimmy.
Gave up on him, and look what he's done, and credit to him. That's perseverance by him, and that's great scouting by the Bruins. So
very good by the Bruins. Give them credit, because for all their misses, and they've had a few like everybody else, Geekie's a good example of a non-miss.
Yep.
Real good strike for them. That's great. It's great. So just like, when you look at all these other kids, Steves is another example. That's a pro pat on the back to the pro scouts. And you just go down the line, all the guys that they've recently added. I think the Bruins deserve some credit there.
They do. And we'll talk a little more NHL later on, Pierre, but let's get into some Olympics right now because they are underway and the women's game is going on right now. We got two games going on. USA and Canada are playing right now, not against each other. But Pierre, look, as I said off air, I'm still trying to learn the women's game, learn the good players. So I'm not going to pretend to know that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to women's hockey. I'm just going to put that out there right now. But that's why we have you, and you've been doing a great job for NBC, recapping and previewing games. So get us up to date. What, for those who haven't been watching, what have we missed so far?
Very well coached team from Finland that's been battling through the norovirus, they're calling it, Jimmy. But they've done a really good job. I think the Finns, even though they're not winning, they're still playing everybody tough. The Swiss are very good because they're well coached. They play stingy defense, and they're getting elite goaltending. They were outshot significantly by Canada. That game was tight for a while. They're getting outshot by the Americans today, but now the Americans are starting to break it open. It's 2-0 for the Americans. But the goaltending for the Swiss have been really good. I don't see any of these teams being able to beat Canada or the United States. It won't be like 2006. The only time we haven't had a gold medal game without Canada and the U.S. since 1998 was 2006, and that was because of one woman. That was because of Kim Martin, a goalie from Sweden who still does a lot of work for Swedish hockey, and she's a delightful person. I had a chance to speak to her in Europe this year. Magnificent athlete, tremendous ambassador for the game, and she engineered probably the largest upset in the history of female hockey.
If I remember correctly, you told me she was pretty psyched that you remembered that when you met her over in Belfast.
She was pretty pumped. I was like, what do you mean? I broadcast the game. It was really good. I did that game with AJ Malesko and Kenny Albert, and it was magical for the Swedes. And it was great for Swedish women's hockey. It was bad for the Americans and bad for TV ratings because you had Canada versus Sweden rather than Canada versus U.S. And the men's team for both countries that year were stinky. And you look at, the men from Finland and the men from Sweden played in the gold medal game. So the TV numbers in Sweden and especially in Finland were huge. They were off the charts. Yeah. But the TV numbers in the States were so good, Jimmy.
It's interesting you bring up Swiss there, that they get outshot a lot, but they're pesky and they get great goaltending because the men's teams are usually quite the same.
They are. And so I just want to throw a little bouquet out to a name that a lot of NHL fans will remember. The Allaire brothers, Benoit and Francois Allaire. For the longest time, Francois and Benoit would go over to Switzerland, especially in the summertime, and work in goalie schools there. And they passed out a lot of wisdom to goalie coaches and to athletes.
Oh, okay.
And so their imprint on Swedish or Swiss hockey, is pretty substantial. And not too many people talk about it. But those you talk about stingy D, well, they got to have that. But they're really good with their goalies, and they made their goalies better, especially on the women's side. So yeah, no, it's pretty good. I don't know if this year, I don't know if the Swiss will have enough artillery to really compete in this tournament. Just like the Germans have Draisaitl, Paterk, and, obviously Timmy Stützle. I just don't know if they have enough artillery. That's 3 players. It's not 12.
Right.
You look at US and you look at Canada, and even you look at Sweden without Leo Carlsson, they still have more firepower. You look at Finland, they still have more firepower. That's going to be a problem for those teams. Same with Czechia. Not having Pavel Zacha for Czechia is a big loss, Jimmy.
Right. And I was actually going to ask, because I kind of before, if completely healthy, I kind of like them as a sleeper to at least maybe get a bronze. I don't know now. Pavel Zacha, he's so underrated. And I hope people have been watching him more this year. He knows where to be, and he's kind of like that dependable guy, right? That you can always depend on him. He's going to do it right. But I still like their chances, Pierre. I think if they get some good goaltending, they might be able to do some damage.
They could. I mean, they're not like they were in 98.
No.
They won the gold in 98. They had a guy named Hasek.
Yeah.
And the magical moment was the magical moment was a shootout, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Against Canada, and people to this day still wonder, like, how could Wayne Gretzky not have shot? And in 98, to be totally frank and fair, Jaromir Jagr was in the meat of his career. Like, he was a superstar player. He was an MVP of the league. He was a 2-time Stanley Cup winner. He was a lot, and he made a difference. So there were times of change for, obviously Czechia. Back then in 98, it was Czech Republic. They had just separated between, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. They'd just broken apart.
Yep.
So it's a little bit different.
Pierre, I wonder too, if you could probably answer this. Have there ever been players who played in the Olympics that weren't in the NHL yet, but had great Olympic performances and then ended up getting contracts?
Yeah. There's a guy that used to play with Pavel Datsyuk in Detroit named Henrik Zetterberg.
Really?
He was drafted by Detroit, but
right.
Zetterberg used the '02 Olympics as a launching point for his career. He was probably, if not the best Swedish player in that tournament, because they had a tough tournament. That's the tournament. I think they lost to Belarus.
Uh-huh.
And the front page of the Aftonbladet, which is the name of their national newspaper, had a picture of all the players, and it had their NHL salaries underneath, and the headline was "Criminals."
Oh,
that's how bad the media. That's how the media. Now that was 2002, but Zetterberg didn't have an NHL contract.
Yeah, he hadn't made it.
So I was kind of. I'm trying to think.
Guys who weren't even drafted. Anybody that wasn't drafted that maybe used that to showcase themselves and parlayed it?
And parlayed into long career? No, not really.
Okay.
One of the guys, he was a flag bearer for Finland, is Lehtinen, who was signed by Toronto, the defenseman, and he never could make it here. And now he went back home, and he's obviously a very good player. Just for whatever reason, couldn't make it here. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that was a superstar Olympian and then ended up parlaying that as an undrafted player into NHL greatness. I mean, maybe you could go back to the old Soviet Union, maybe.
Right. Wow.
And that's a long time ago. So
yeah, I'm not really old enough to. I have vague memories of it, but maybe for some of our younger listeners too, Pierre. I mean, how good were those old Soviet Union teams in terms of puck possession? Because my dad would tell me about it. It was basically like keep away, is what he said.
The biggest mistake you could make is they'd say in the morning skates of an NHL team, they look like the Red Army. And, like Scotty used to say to me all the time, the Red Army was good until hitting got introduced. And then they kind of backed off a little bit.
Yeah.
So your morning skates, you look good and you look great, but then the hitting starts and you're not as good. They were really good, Jimmy. Whether it was a KLM line with, especially Larionov, how good he was. And on the back end with Fetisov and Kasatonov. I mean, they had so many good players. It was crazy back then how good they were.
Do you remember where you were for the 1980 game, the Miracle?
Yeah, I do. I was in my fraternity house at Hobart College in Geneva, New York, in the basement. and it was on tape delay. That game wasn't broadcast live.
Right, tell me, yeah.
And so, believe it or not, I just come back from hockey practice, and there were no cell phones. And my brother Regan and my dad, my late father, were at the game. They were at Lake Placid. They drove down from Montreal, so they were at the game, and they gave me the score. They said, "You're not going to believe this, but the Americans actually beat the Russians." I go, "No, they didn't." They call them the Soviets, actually. They didn't call them Russians. They beat the Soviets. I go, "No, they didn't." My brother goes, "Yes, they did." And then, you could tell by the intro that there was a good vibe around because everybody was pretty happy about it.
That's crazy. I remember my dad saying it was tape delay there, but that's insane. You know who was at that game, and I saw a great story about it this weekend. I wish I had known when we had him on Friday, on Campus Friday, was Greg Carville, the head coach of
Oh, he went
UMass.
with his father. I think they snuck in. They snuck in. Well, you could back in those days. I mean, it wasn't the same as what it is now.
Well, the security today, you would never be able
Never, no chance would you get in.
Oh,
I mean, but Mr. Carville, Greg's father, he would have known all the highways and byways because, Greg grew up in Canton, New York.
Right.
And so they used to play a lot of tournaments down there in Lake Placid. So they would know every nook and cranny of that rink. Not just the now they call it the Herb Brooks 1980 rink, but the class, I think it was the 32 arena. They would know everything about that place.
Yeah, that was cool. It was a cool story. Good for Carvey.
Saturday night was good for Carvey too. Coming back after Friday night.
That was, and you know what? Even though I was gonna kill myself because I texted you and I said, hey, they're having a great bounce back game, and then all of a sudden they blew the lead, tie game. They had a goal call back, and then they ended up tied 2-2, but then they pulled away and wound up winning. So that was a good win. By the way, BCBU in the Beanpot final tonight. I'm liking
Harvard and Northeastern's already started.
Is it already started? Okay,
it started at 4, I believe. And the only reason I don't have it on is because I'm watching these Olympic games. And I apologize for those fans of Harvard and Northeastern where I'm close to both programs. I got to watch the women's game. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey,
I'll watch tonight though. I'll watch BBC tonight. Watch it tonight.
I like BC, but while they are clearly the better team right now, Pierre, these final games are so unpredictable. I could easily see BU winning, or I could see it maybe going to overtime. And when these two teams get together in this game, it's always exciting.
If you look at it is. It's true. The Battle of Comm Ave. I was texting
time tonight.
Yeah, I had a nice little exchange with the legendary coach of Boston University, Jack Parker, this afternoon.
Oh, great! Yeah,
I sent him an interview that I had done with Micah Ruzioni last week that just went.
Yeah, great job by the way, Pierre.
Thank you, Jimmy. Well, thanks to Mike. Mike was unbelievable, and great job by Bill Daly today. I can't wait for that to come out.
Oh yeah, cool.
Bill was unbelievable today. He's heading to Milano tonight.
Okay,
but Bill. Some serious intel on collective bargaining, European expansion, North American expansion, league opening up an office in Zurich, the relationship he has with Marty Walsh. There was a lot there today. I thought Bill was outstanding. But anyways, I was talking to Coach when I was interviewing Mike. I talked to him about Jack Parker. And I wanted Coach Parker to hear what one of his old players had to say about him. It was touching, really. It was fantastic.
Yeah. That's great. Well, Jack Parker, as I told you, but I'll tell our listeners and viewers, Coach Parker and Coach Jerry York will be dropping a ceremonial park before the final game tonight. So that'll be pretty cool to have them in the house. By the way, for everyone out there who doesn't know yet or hasn't checked out Pierre's new podcast and its video as well that he's doing, it's you can go on X and it's at Pierre_ITG, at Pierre_ITG, and ITG stands for the title, which is Inside the Game with Pierre McGuire. Highly suggest checking out that Mike Ruzioni episode. It was a joy to watch.
Yeah, no, Mike, I'm just telling you, Mike was great. And Mike, this weekend, Mike dropped the puck at a BU game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Friday night, right?
Yeah, we were like, I was watching games, and stuff, minor league games, and he was texting back and forth, man, dude, you're dropping the puck. What are you doing?
You know who else was at that game waving the BU flag in the stands?
I know, Lane Hudson.
Yep, he got the crowd going.
I don't have a bad thought about Lane. Like everything about him. Loves hockey, loves coaches, loves his teammates, loves being at the rink, proud of his brothers, loves his family. Like, he's just Mr. It. Like, I love that kid. Love
Yeah.
that kid. He's awesome. He's just
Yeah.
fantastic.
And
We got to get him on here, Jimmy.
we got to
We
make
got
that
to get him on. Like, he's just so good.
Yeah.
And he loves hockey.
He
The
does.
guy loves hockey.
I mean, I'm waiting for us to see the videos or pictures of him in the outdoor ring playing pickup shinny with the kids. Like,
Well, he went to Chicago. I don't know if you know, Jimmy. He went to Chicago. Like, he was Montreal, Boston, then he went home to Chicago. And I don't know if he's staying there for a long time or not.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm sure it's cold enough to have ice outdoors in Chicago right now. I can tell you that. So,
by the way, BU with an upset win there over Maine the other day in overtime, 3-2. So good way he brought them some luck there. Pierre, but let's get to men's Olympics again, though. So
sure.
Some players, I don't want to ruin it for what you said in your videos for NBC. And by the way, check out the work Pierre is doing for NBC as well there. But so I don't know if you want to give the same guys you gave there as breakout players.
Or I'll tell you who they were. Matt Boldy of Minnesota, who had a 4-point game, his last game in the NHL before they went overseas, and Jake Sanderson, who is overlooked with this defense because of McAvoy, because of Slavin, because of Werenski, because of Quinn Hughes, because of Brock Faber. Jake's kind of down the lineup, which is kind of wrong, to be honest. It is. It's kind of wrong. And I just wanted people to have an understanding about Jake and Boldy, how they're going to influence Team USA. And Jimmy, I can tell you, after that came out that I had done that, I got a lot of NHL guys calling me and say, you're spot on about both those guys. Unless you're a fan of Minnesota, unless you're a fan of Ottawa, you're just not watching their teams play.
Exactly. And
you don't know how good either guy is, and they're both really good.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Pierre, and that's why I brought it up, because it's a good segue to it. I'm looking at the standings this morning, and I'm asking myself, out of the teams right now, out of all the teams that are 5 points behind or more in each conference, which team do you think can make the playoffs? And I think I know your answer, and I think it's the team that aforementioned defenseman plays for.
Yeah, I think Ottawa's got a legitimate chance to make it.
It's because of him. He's playing.
He's a big part of it. Now, I don't know how healthy Brady's going to be. Timmy Stützle's going to be a huge part of it. Drake's going to be a big part. One of the guys that's not getting enough love, he's played on the fourth line, the third line, first line, the second line, is Claude Giroux. I know he's getting older. Claude's had a really nice year there. He's had a nice year leadership-wise, and he's had a nice year face-off-wise, and he had a really nice year, doing a lot of the dirty little jobs you got to do to make your team relevant. And I think he's had a good year. So there are guys there that are good. Pinto started out great. Then he got hurt.
Yeah. So
he's having a hard time getting offense going again. The defense there and then maybe the most underappreciated player they got is Michael Amadio.
Yes.
Michael Amadio is really good. He's a really good player. He doesn't get points. You don't have him on your team for points.
But
he's there to check, kill, forecheck, stabilize games. He's just a good player.
And let's not forget Linus Ullmark for what he's done since he came back from his leave of absence here.
That's why I'm so proud of it. Not easy to do what he's doing.
No.
You know what it's like. You walk in a dressing room, that's like the bastion of machismo, right? It is.
It is.
And then all of a sudden you got to say, oh, you know what? I got some mental health issues.
Yep.
I'm so proud of those young guys there because they accepted him with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't mock him. They didn't make fun of him. They didn't laugh at him. They said, come here. You're one of us. I love what they did with him.
They make the playoffs, right? I'm not saying they're going to go on a run to the cup or anything, but let's just say they make the playoffs. You wonder if that's a turning point that they look back at is the way they embraced him and the way that team came together around him, because they've been a much better team since that incident. I'm not crediting that whole incident, but I'm just saying it seems like they really united from that.
I agree. I think it's such a relevant point, Jimmy, from you. So yes, and it shows you how much more mature that group is. Mm-hmm. When I was there 4 years ago, I'm not sure that was going to be working out that way.
Yep.
Just being fair with you. But now I see it and I'm like, you know what? Good for those guys. Timmy's a superstar. Stutz is a superstar. The scouting staff in 2020, he went third overall. You can make the argument, Jimmy. I'm not saying 100%, but you can make the argument he's the best player in the draft. He's better than Lafreniere right now.
Yep.
And you can make the argument he's been as good or better than Quentin Byfield.
I think it's a very valid.
Like he may be, and Sanderson's not far behind. And
Right.
He what was he, 3 picks later?
Mm-hmm.
So you can make the argument like Ottawa got maybe the 2 best players in the 2020 draft. You can make that argument.
Pierre, out west, though, I don't know if you'll agree with me. I don't see, if we look at the 5 points more behind, the team right now that's 5 points behind is the San Jose Sharks, and then you've got the Blackhawks are 10, the Jets are 11. I don't know. And
They're not. I told you, double digits out. If you're double digits out by the time you get to the break, you're not making. You're not.
And this is not to take away what the Sharks have done this season.
No. But they're only 5. I think they're only 5, right?
They're 5, but I still feel like they came back down to earth before the Olympics.
They did. They had a tough road trip.
Yeah.
I talked to one of their coaches the other day on another issue, and they still feel really good about where they are. They love the growth of their team. Can't say enough good things about Macklin, Celebrini, obviously. They need a little bit more with consistency, but that's normal with a young team.
Yeah, they're young.
But they're trending the right way. Like 2 years ago when we started this, I was like, they're in trouble. And they were. They were. How could they predict they were going to draft Macklin? They had no idea they were going to draft Macklin.
No. And you rightly predicted that they needed to get veterans around those youth.
They had to. Around Will Smith, around Macklin, all those kids, they had to get guys, Dickinson on defense. Like, they got a lot of good young players, but you got to have older guys there. You can't throw those guys. Like, that's why I tell the story about Chris Pronger all the time, is the best. And Pronger says, you know what? He hit rock bottom when he got to St. Louis. When we had him in Hartford his first year, he lived with Brad McCrimmon. He played with Brad McCrimmon. I played him all the time. Power play, penalty kill. Sometimes he'd stay out for the full 2 minutes on the penalty kill. Like, we were trying to build him up. Hard as heck on him, challenged him all the time, pushed him, prodded him, everything. But here's the thing about Chris. He had Brad McCrimmon as a security blanket.
God rest his
and
soul.
It matters, man. Those guys matter. I used to see Beast all the time when he was working for Babcock in Detroit. And I would talk to him all the time, just how great he was.
He helped Raymond Bourque a lot, too.
Raymond Bourque, Mark Howe, and the best one is Nick Lidstrom. I told you the story. He said to me, he says, because I asked him, you can have your own room. You can do that. I need a favor. Could you room with this guy? Can you be his partner? He goes, well, Pierre, I did break in Mark Howe. I had Raymond Bourque, and I think I did a good job with the last guy, Nick Lidstrom, so I can take care of this guy. No problem.
God bless him. I never met him, but I've always heard nothing but good things.
But he was the best. He was just an amazing man. And that day that happened, I was sitting in my office in Montreal, in my house in Montreal, and my wife came upstairs, and I was crying. And she goes, "What happened?" And I told her the story. And she's like, "No way."
Locomotive.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I remember that too. It was a rainy day here. I remember that.
Yeah, it was.
Agony had just picked me up to take me out to practice.
Pavel Dimitri was on that plane, guy that I had the honor of coaching. Like so many guys, Carlos Grastins, like I can go down the line. So many guys you knew over time.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that whole thing.
Yeah. Geez, what that was 2011, I think, September 2000.
No, it was before that, I think, Jimmy, because we were moved to this. We were still in Canada when it happened. So yeah, I remember clear as day when it was. Check it out.
Yeah, it was right. September 7th, 2011.
Yeah, so there it was just happening. We were just moving. There you go. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that was a tough one. All right, before we
terrible.
Before we get to these questions, Pierre, I want to thank our good loyal listener and viewer, Mr. White, sent me a tweet right before, and I sent it to you right after he did. In the Devils, there was a picture taken of the Hughes brothers with Brady Tkachuk in their USA uniforms.
Yeah.
And the Devils Twitter feed or X feed, whatever you want to call it, decided to screenshot out Quint Hughes. in the picture. Let Brady Tkachuk in. So at first I was like, okay, well, maybe they did it because he's not with their team. But then I'm like, well, no, but Brady Tkachuk's it. I find that to be, and I'm just going to be blunt, and I make it well known here. I'm friends with Tom Fitzgerald, but I find that to be petty, Pierre. If that's because they couldn't get him in a trade, that's just not a good look.
So who blocked it out? The Devils or USA Hockey?
Devils. The Devils did. They
Yeah,
took the
no
pitcher
good.
from USA Hockey and then blocked out Quinn Hughes.
No good.
It's not a good look.
No good.
I got a feeling it's going to be a rough final few.
I don't like to see anybody have a hard time. Like there's certain. Look at Jamie. I won't pretend and try to say, "Oh yeah, I'm holier now." There are a lot of guys in this league that I really like a lot, and there's some guys in this league I couldn't stand.
Yep.
Because they live a different life than what I do, and it doesn't matter. Like I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there's certain guys in this league I can't stand them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to see people suffer. Like this is going to get mean there. It's going to get really mean there.
Yep. All right, let's get to our sponsors, and then we will get over to.
Can I give you an update? 3-0 US over Switzerland.
Well, they take one back because last I looked over, it was 4.
It's 3. They just took
one back. Okay.
So the shots are 39-16. 16:50 to go on the third.
All right. Let's tell you about our wonderful sponsor, Vago Italian. We love going up there, and when we're in Montreal, that's where you go for Italian food.
Can't wait to get there.
I can't wait for a chicken palm. I haven't tried it yet there, but Pierre raves about it. So I will get them next time I'm there. They combine old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion. They are open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. They are located 1336 Green Avenue in Westmount. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that's 514-846-1414. And then our other sponsor, Betway, where you can still go all the way and bet those beauties with Betway. I'm guessing Betway was pretty busy website yesterday for the Super Bowl. Pierre, I was on Betway probably at like noon. And I'm just curious all the interesting little weird props they have. You can bet on the coin toss. You can bet on what color the Gatorade's going to be that gets doused on the coach's bet. It was insane, some of the stuff. So I did a research thing, and I don't know if it was Betway, and I won't say another platform, but a certain gambling platform out there said that they had 12,000 different props to offer on one game.
Well, I saw one story. I don't know if it's true or not. There was one betting company that if New England had won, there was a chance that they could go bankrupt.
That's how many people bet on New England, huh? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that too at the end. It was a 4.5 yesterday morning at game time. It went down to 3.5. So yeah.
So that's why I'm saying if people knew the quarterback had a shoulder problem, I'm not sure that action would have happened that way.
Yeah. Yeah. How about the guy too? I saw there was a story. Some guy bet the Seahawks and the Patriots to wind up in the Super Bowl. He put $5 down at the beginning of the year. He won $17,500 off that one bet.
That's
Unreal.
Nice,
let's get back to tell you what you can do with Betway. If you signed up, you could be getting back a $300 on your first deposit. But if you haven't yet, go there right now. Go to the QR code right in front of you, or go to the website to the members section and fill out your details there. You must be 18 plus. Always bet responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. And this offer is not available in Ontario. So no NHL games. No, you can't bet on the women's games over at Betway right now. We'll get to the men's games. I'll make some picks for those later in the week, but I'll focus on the Bean Pot tonight, Pierre. And as I said on Campus Friday with Greg Carville after we had him on, I like the Boston College Eagles to win. They are at -145 on the money line right now. If you think they can win by more than one, you get +185. I'm just going to take that money line. I like the Eagles to win, but like I said, I think it's a tight game. All right, let's get to our questions. I hope I don't mispronounce this name. Simimanen, I guess.
Sami Amanen.
There we go. This is Pierre's been to Finland a lot. Did the experts underestimate Finland again? Saros with the best all-around D pair in Heiskanen. Lundell, number one playoff performer of his age group in Rantanen. Lundell has a shutdown McDavid times 2 playoffs. He's
I
shut him down.
don't think the experts are disrespecting Finland
No.
at all, Sami. In fact, I'm a big fan of Finnish hockey, and I think the Finns are going to cause problems.
Yeah.
I think the Finns are going to, if they play Sweden, and let's just say they play Sweden in the bronze medal, or they play Czechia in the bronze medal, I think they could beat them. Now, do I think they could beat USA or Canada? I'm sure they could. I don't have them as a favorite to them, though. I won't lie to you. I don't think they're the favorite in any one of those games.
No, but
that doesn't mean the Finns aren't good. The Finns are good, man. They're really good.
I forget who we were talking to, but I remember when Sweden. Oh, it was with Kevin Stevens, and we were saying how ravaged Sweden is with the injuries, and you said that's why I'm looking a little at Finland maybe to do it.
Kevin brought that up. Yep. And one other thing, Sami, just so you know, we have been working, Jimmy and I, diligently to get Jarmo Kekalainen on the show, and it looks like we will have him at some point next week.
Yeah,
that's just so you know, Sami. So we're excited about that.
All right, what's the next question? Renaissance Resistor. I was thinking about the Hawks Cup winning teams, and is it fair to say that Kapanen is as good as, if not better than, the second centers on those teams?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Renaissance Resistor. I think Michael Handzus was one of those guys.
Yep.
Pretty good player, big, rangy. I mean,
was Saad one of the centers on one of those?
Who?
Brandon Saad?
No, he's a winger. Brandon was a winger.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I don't know. I mean,
let's say TBD.
Let's TBD. Here's the other thing. Chicago's defense, they had the best left skating defense in the league. They had Duncan Keith, who's really good. They had Nick Leddy, and they had Johnny Oduya.
Oh, yeah.
So if you did a visual breakdown, and we used to do this, Eddie Olchuk and I, we would show how Chicago would go right to left, up the boards, and then to the middle or to the far wing. You couldn't stop them on the forecheck. They never spent any time in their own zone because their left winger or their left defense could transport the puck so well. They were phenomenal on the left side in terms of transporting the puck.
All right, next question. What do we got? Sound the siren. What's up, my friend? Pierre, with Canada boycotting the 1980s Olympics, were they cheering on the Americans against the Soviets?
Well, you're talking about the summer, but Canada went to the winter. Like Kevin Deneen, our good friend, went to that. And Jimmy Nill played in that. Glenn Anderson played in those Olympics for Canada. People forget Canada didn't send an Olympic team for a long time as a boycott against the Soviets because they thought the Soviets were sending pros, which they were, and that Canada was sending amateurs who couldn't compete. And that's why Canada stopped sending teams. But they did send a team to 1980, and Kevin Deneen played on that team. Jimmy Nill, Dr. Randy Gregg played on that team. Yep. So there were a lot of good Canadian players that ended up having really good NHL careers on that team. In terms of supporting a boycott, Canada didn't go. Canada didn't go to the Olympics. I mean, so I don't know.
All right, next question. 4-0 now, Pierre. Ethan Russell, why would Team USA break up Faber and Hughes? Do you think Boldy and Gensel with Eichel would be more productive?
Let me read that. Take it off. Why would Team USA break up?
Question.
Well, that's two different questions. So first of all, Faber and Hughes, we'll see. They might not be showing their cards right now. In terms of with Eichel, we'll see how that plays. I think all these lines could be changed in a moment. So I wouldn't read too much in it. And just for everybody to understand, the first 3 games, they're kind of just a dress rehearsal for the Olympics. Everybody moves on.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like just a dress rehearsal.
Right. So you're going to see a lot of the changing.
You'll see a lot of changes. So I don't want to get hung up in the minutiae of, this line, that line, this pair, that pair. Let's just see where teams are. The U.S. on paper, U.S. has the easiest schedule.
They do.
On paper, they have the easiest schedule.
All right, next question.
You're right, 4-0 breakaway goal for the Americans.
Brandon H825. There are rumors of the Habs being interested in Ryan O'Reilly. I think he would fit good for the rest of the year. And next at $4.5 million cap hit, great leadership and experience, plus plays PK and over 50% on the dot.
All very true and great points by you, Brandon. Totally agree. Here's the one issue. Who do you want out of the lineup for Ryan O'Reilly to go in?
That's a good question.
Who do you want out? Just, you got to tell me who you want out because it's not going to be that easy. Kapanen, we just talked about. Want Jake Evans out of the lineup? You want Phil Deneau out of the lineup? So you may have to trade somebody from your roster to get Ryan O'Reilly too.
It's
so it's just
go ahead.
Does he help? Yeah, he helps. Yeah, he helps a lot. Yeah.
It's interesting too, Pierre, because I think about this. I think we even mentioned it last week. Remember when we were heading into the season, and for pretty much the first 2 months of the season, the big talk was a 2C for the Habs. They got to get a 2C on the trade. Yeah. Now it almost seems like we're just going to get whoever we think can help, whether it's a winger or a center. They're going to go out and get that person, whoever they think fits best.
I still think they need a winger to play with Caulfield and Suzuki. It's not a knock on Texier. It's not a knock on Kirby. It's not. I just don't think those guys fit there. It doesn't mean they can't play in the team. Yeah. You didn't hear me say get rid of those guys.
No.
You know, the one guy I think has to go is Patrick Laine, and I think they're going to try to move him. It's not because I think Patrick's a bad guy. I don't see where he fits on the team.
Exactly.
He's not playing ahead of Slavkovsky on the second line. He's not playing ahead of Caulfield, and he's not playing ahead of Demidov. And I don't think he can keep up with Caulfield and Suzuki. So where's he going to play? He's not a checker. Yeah. So that's my point. Like, if you want to be redundant and just keep guys in the stands, you can do that. But I'd like to have chips in the game to make my team better.
I saw something today. Somebody was reporting maybe Edmonton.
Hey, 5-0. You're slow on the draw there, kid. Come on.
All right, next question. They're coming. The goals are coming fast and furious now.
I think I feel bad for the Swiss. They're worn out, and you can kind of see it right now.
All right. Bill Van Vago asks, I was wondering if Canada would ever go back to the national program like they did with Dave King, not so much the senior team, but maybe the juniors, or for the Spangler. Why did they stop?
Because junior operators in Canada wanted to have players, and there were nobody for the national team because they're all playing pro hockey and they weren't getting paid. So, well, maybe a little bit like Andy Moog was Mr. IGA. So IGA's, sponsored him. But, I remember we took Jimmy Pack off of Team Canada in 1990-91. And we took, believe it or not, Jimmy was in Dawson Creek. I am not kidding you. He was in Dawson Creek playing for Team Canada. Coach King was coaching, and we took him out of there to put on our Pittsburgh Penguin team. What's kind of cool about that story, he comes back and plays for us, and in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final, we win 8-0 in Bloomington, Minnesota against the North Stars. Jimmy got the 8th goal. Ulfie Samuelson got the first goal, and Jimmy got the last goal. One of the nicest men I ever had the privilege of working with was Jimmy Pack. I had him in Pittsburgh, and then we, as a group, we brought him to Ottawa. And one of the coolest things I can tell you about Jimmy, if you get a chance, it's on YouTube. Watch Jimmy's South Korean team after they lost in the Olympics in Pyeongchang. I was there doing the game. All his players came off the bench. They got down on the ice, and there's something in their custom where you bend over and you salute your leader. Mm-hmm. And the players all did that to Jimmy. I was standing right there, and it was amazing. Cool. It was amazing.
That's respect.
And I looked at Jimmy. I said, "That's something you should." He and Richard Park, Richard works for Minnesota now. Yep. They were both coaching the Korean team, and the players just adored those guys. They respected them so much. I thought that was fantastic.
That's a great story there. That shows a lot of respect. All right, next question. Juice, Pierre, what did you think of Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield as prospects, and did you ever envision them being the players they are today?
I saw Cole so much. So I'm going to tell you straight up, and I know I've spoken to Jimmy about this. I went and watched Cole play. They were traveling around Massachusetts with his, national team development program. Jack Hughes was on that team, obviously. Trevor Zegras, all these guys were there. But he and Zegras had amazing chemistry. Cole and Zegras had really good chemistry. The truth is that I thought he'd be a goal scorer. Did I think he'd be a 40 to 50 guy? No, I didn't. I thought he'd be 30 to 40, but he's good. And Nicky, when Montreal got him in the trade, I remember telling Mitch, that's a bogey by Vegas. That's a bogey by Vegas. I remember saying that to Mitch Melnick. That's a bogey.
You're right. All right, next question. Narratives. Hi, guys. Do the Habs have enough on their team and in their pipeline to have a Stanley Cup-worthy team within the next few years? I think they have the potential 7-person profile already.
They do, and I think that they got a window now that's probably 5 to 10 years now. Starting now, they got a window Now injuries come into it, free agency comes into it. But I think they got a window where and there's going to be, I'm going to tell you straight up. I just had this interview with Bill Daly that will run next week. It'll come out next week. Expansion's coming. There's no question that expansion's coming, and it's not going to be one team. It's going to be two teams. And because of that, you're going to lose players. You're going to lose players. That's just how it's going to be. So that's why I say 5 to 10 years is their window, but it starts this year. So I think they're in a good spot. They're in a really good spot. And who knows if they keep drafting the way they are. This Nicky Bobrov's dangerous on the road.
Yeah.
Like he's stealing players. He's a dangerous guy. If you're another team, like he's a dangerous guy. I'm telling you, he's a really good scout.
All right, next question. Big guy F5Y. Hi, Pierre and Jimmy. Robert Thomas rumors. Should the Habs go for it? Hage, Engstrom, Pickford, and picks. Engstrom or Pickford, I should say. Are the Habs ready to be a contender, or do we wait? I would not give up Hage.
I would not give up Page. If you were to tell me Engstrom, Pickford, and picks, I'd do it.
Yeah. But it's probably going to cost more than that. I would
yeah. It's going to cost more than that.
Yeah. All right, next question. D Fudge. I've read that the Soviets took the Americans lightly based on their prior big win. Any truth to the rumor that the Soviets may have been out late and had a few too many beverages the night before?
No, because back in those days,
from what I
not
hear, right?
in those days, you're in the village, number one. And number two, they were surrounded by security. They didn't sneak around. And that's why everybody marveled in 1990 when Sergei Fedorov got out, or McGillney got out. If you don't believe me, go read the Stastny's book about how the Stastnys got out of Slovakia. It was Czechoslovakia then, and they were, being dominated by the Soviets. Go look at that. So no, the truth is that no, they weren't out, and I don't know if they were taking them lightly or not. But I would tell you one thing: the American goaltender Jimmy Craig was pretty good. Aruzione's goal was timeless, and Mark Johnson's goal at the end of the first period was crazy. So you had some divine intervention there too. But those American players, from top to bottom, those guys sold their soul to win that game. That's why hockey's dangerous. That's why I'm not a big analytics guy. Because if you look at the analytics, it wasn't even close.
Oh, yeah.
Not even close.
That was all hard. All right, next question. Mr. White, there he is. Did you guys happen to catch the comment from Mike Rupp? I alerted Pierre to it. Yes, we did, Mr. White, about Jack Hughes letting his team fans down by being day to day and then choosing to stay out of the lineup when the team was on life support. And, of course, Mr. White, he also went to the Olympics after that. Yeah, I agree with everything Rupp said there.
Really disappointed. Mike didn't say anything wrong. He didn't. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I think it's going to be problematic in Jersey. Stuff's going to happen. It's not going to be good there.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of changes.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. I know people get mad. I get it. You're allowed to get mad. I love the passion of hockey fans. But as somebody that's been in it for a long time, I don't like to see people suffer. And there's going to be some suffering going on there.
All right. Next question. Pearl of Wisdom. Do you think the Panthers shrug their shoulders and say, oh, well, not our year, and every player with a boo-boo sits after the break?
Perlo,
Boo-boo.
you're a wise man. And I think they probably realize that this isn't going to be their year. I think they would have been a little more proactive going into the break. The Seth Jones injury, I think, was one thing. The Barkov obviously was another. They just got too many. Kulikov, another. They just got too many guys hurt. Nate Schmidt's playing in Utah. You can go down the line, look at their roster. They just got too many guys hurt.
I'm looking at some of their UFAs right
Alosh
now.
Nosik's hurt. When's he coming back? Look at all the guys hurt. Come on, it's crazy.
Yeah. Nobody really. Oh,
45-20 are the shots, Jimmy.
Wow.
5-0.
All right, next question. Hendricks that can play. How did players handle being around legends like Mario Lemieux? What did he think when teammates and other NHL players asked him for a stick or an autograph?
Never had a problem.
Yeah.
His teammates called him Ace. They call him Ace for a reason because he never missed. Phenomenal human being, tremendous teammate, intense when he had to be, but subtly so. I remember one time there was a player that was having a tough time catching passes in practice. and I was running the practice. I just remember him saying really loud, "If he can't catch a pass here, he can't play here." I was like, "Oh, that was good." I didn't have to say much, so that was good. So yeah, no, he was great. Jimmy knows. I so look forward to that fantasy camp. I love spending time with him. I know all his team. You should see, and hopefully Jimmy's going to be there. We're trying to work that out now. When you see the people that come to his fantasy camp, the workers, you're blown away. Like, it's a who's who of hockey Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
They come because they want to hang out with him, and the amazing campers that come. There's like 80 people from all over the world.
Wow.
It's an amazing thing. And they're all there because of 66.
Yeah.
And the last night, the dinner the last night is, you never forget it. Like, everyone is better than the next.
Wow.
It's just an amazing experience. So it's all about him. It's all because of him, and it's what he does for the community in Pittsburgh. All that money goes to his foundation. It all goes to, great medical causes in the city of Pittsburgh.
All right, next question. D Fudge, there's talk about the veteran presence that AJ Greer, not Greer, that Mike
Greer, that's your buddy, Mike.
I was just thinking AJ because I was looking at the Florida lineup.
Yeah.
Has brought to the Sharks. The Habs don't have that. So why do we not hear more about them adding something similar? Who's available? Who would work?
But we got to take a step back. Like, Mike Matheson's not a neophyte in the league. Josh Anderson's not a neophyte in the league. Suzuki's not just starting his career.
I respectfully disagree.
There's a lot of, Dobson's got some moxie and veteran presence. Carrier's not just starting his career. There are guys that are a little bit older on this team. Jake Evans isn't young. He's almost 30 years of age. So, they got a lot more old guys than you think on this team. Even though they say they're the youngest roster in the league, I get it. Could they use a veteran like a Ryan O'Reilly? Yeah, they could. Here's the thing, Jimmy. I think back to when Teemu Selanne was traded a few times. Like, imagine Teemu in his prime if he was available, and you play him with Suzuki and Caulfield.
Oh my gosh,
like, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah,
Teemu, if you're watching this, you know what I think of you. I'm the biggest Selanne fan. Teemu was awesome, treated me amazing, known him a long time. Great. By the way, if you're into steakhouses, Teemu has a great steakhouse in Newport Beach, California. There you go, Timo. A little shout out to your steakhouse.
All right, next question. E. Lemieux, what will be a fair deal for the Habs to get Zach Whitecloud?
Top prospect. You have to get a prospect, probably a D-man. Mm-hmm. So Engstrom wouldn't be enough. I think they would probably swing at Reinbacher, but I think you'd have to put a little more in there because of the injury, and I'm not sure you want to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't. That would be an interesting one to have the talk. He's a righty, Jimmy, and he's a good penalty killer. He understands the role. He'd be a good matchup guy in the playoffs.
Yep.
He would be.
All right, next question. Chris L. 1993 Hab. Question for Pierre and Jimmy. How do the Sharks rebuild their roster next year with half the team being UFAs and a few quality free agents next summer? What's their plan? Great shows. Thanks, Chris.
You go first because you were just talking about it.
Yeah, I think they got to continue. They've got great young D, I think. Well, not really, though. I'm thinking of Chicago. Yeah. They've got I think they need to get D. They need to get more D and younger D, but with experience, if that's possible. That's where I would focus on right now if I was a Shark.
So we're on the same, Jimmy and I are speaking out of the same microphone. Totally agree with Jimmy on that.
All right, next question. Tag. There are some quality NHL players from Long Island in the league right now. Do you think with Schaefer on the island, we can look forward to having even more players from Long Island in the future? For sure, Tag.
100%. The caliber of development on Long Island is tremendous. Yep. Long Island University having a Division I program is really good for them. The Long Island Royals and the jobs that a lot of those former Islander players have done there has been great, starting with Bobby Nystrom, Matt Martin being there and being part of the development, Cal Clutterbuck staying around. No, I think Schaefer's brought a whole new intensity to it. There's a company called Value Retail. Value Retail's built a shopping village, a high-end shopping village right by UBS Arena. They also own the racetrack. So there's a lot of invigorating stuff going around hockey on Long Island. So I do think you're going to see a lot more athletic people getting involved with hockey. And eventually them having more players in the NHL.
Charlie McAvoy from Long Beach, Long Island. There we go.
Next to Mike Francesa.
Right where the Rangers used to practice all the time. All right, next question.
Right.
Hendrickson can play. There's a lot of trade talk heading into the playoffs, especially with so many teams that still believe they're in the race. Can you give examples of a great trade before the playoffs?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, I'll give you one right now. Ronnie Francis, Ulf Samuelson, and Grant Jennings from Hartford to Pittsburgh for John Cullen, the late Zarli Zalapski, and a kid named Jeff Parker, who played at Michigan State. Turned out to be a home run for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They won back-to-back cups. Francis, Jennings, and Samuelson were great. I can give you another one. Mark Recchi and Paul Coffey to Philadelphia for Rick Tocchet, Shel Samuelson, and Kenny Reggett. Turned out to be pretty good for Pittsburgh. Coffey ended up getting moved out to LA in that deal. You can look at there are a bunch. Those are ones that I'm just close to that I know, but there are a fair number that have worked out. You know, it didn't happen at the trade deadline, but when Calgary traded Dougie Gilmour, that was a huge trade, Jimmy. We were there in Calgary when that deal happened, right around New Year's Day, New Year's Eve.
Yep.
It was a massive, massive, massive deal. And Toronto just accelerated. Pat Burns loved Dougie, and it just took off from there. It was an amazing deal. Amazing deal.
I got one the Bruins made. I remember when I was in high school, and this was actually the year
is it the Adam Oates deal with St. Louis?
Yep.
So that was
Adam Oates,
Janny for Oates, and there was one other player.
Stefan Quintal went to St. Louis with Stefan Quintal went to St. Louis.
Yeah, so it was Janny and Quintal for
Adam Oates.
And that was Oates and Neely were unbelievable together, just like Oates and Hull were so good in St.
Oates
Louis.
and
Together. Yeah, but here's a trick on Oatesy, and he knows. He's probably going to get mad at me. Somebody will tell him. So Oatesy was a right-hand shot, and he loved to come down your right wing, his offside. And what he would do is he'd stop and pop like Gretsch used to do, but he'd be on his forehand because he was a righty coming down the left side. So Neely would come late, so he'd always be dishing on his forehand.
Like that.
So what we used to watch enough tape, you find out.
Pick it up.
And so he knows, we would jump him right at the red line. We would,
You wouldn't let him get there to set it up.
you know, in this Boston Garden, it wasn't that easy for him to manipulate Ulfie at that point. So, yeah, it was problematic, but boy, oh boy, what a good player.
Oh.
What a good player. Oatesy was a really good player. He and I worked at hockey school at RPI one summer. Oh, it was fun. Johnny Carter was there. Mike Dark, who was a Canadiens draft pick, was there. Kenny Hammond, who played for the LA Kings, was there. Darren Pupa was there. Was there. Mike Joplin was there. Darren Pupa. Mike Satapor, who was a captain of their national championship. I'm just trying to go around the dressing room when we play the counselor games. It was really good hockey. I had so much fun. The late Mike Odessa was a coach there.
Oh, cool.
And I loved Troy, New York at that time of the year in the summer it was nice. There was a lot to do on the weekends. You could go up to Lake George. You could go up to Glens Falls. There was a lot to do. It was good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. By the way, USA just won. It is final.
5-0.
All right, next question. Juice, Pierre, out of all the left-handed shot defensemen Canada has taken to the Olympics, who's the best suited to play on the right side if necessary?
I'll tell you, it's not even a question. I can tell you right now, it's Shea Theodore. Shea Theodore is better, even though he's a lefty, he's better playing on his offside than either one of those two guys. I don't trust I think Sanheim will probably get the least amount of minutes of all those guys. But no, Shea Theodore is good on the offside. Very good. That's a great question, by the way. That's a really smart hockey question. Really good.
All right, next question. Brandon, seen Austin Matthews getting a lot of heat for being named captain of USA. I personally don't think he should be the captain. Your thoughts?
It's a photo op thing. It doesn't matter. Every one of those guys in that dressing room is a captain. They're all leaders. You know, if you don't believe me, the 0-2 team that went to Salt Lake City, go look at the players that were on that team. And then if you don't believe me, go look at the press conference that Wayne Gretzky had after one of their first games. And he was just bringing all the attention on himself because he didn't want anybody in the room to feel pressure. So he unloaded on everything. And everybody scrutinized him, and the team went on this unbelievable run. They pulled Curtis Joseph, they put Marty Brodeur in, and the rest is history. They won going away, and Mario was playing on that team. Paul Correa was on that team. Michael Pekka was on that team. Brendan Shanahan. You go look at all the guys who were on that team. Like, they had a wagon of players, but they had soiled, not them. The 98 team didn't win. So there was a lot of pressure to win.
Yeah.
And so Gretz totally changed the operative and took all the pressure off. So the need for captaincy wasn't there. Gretz was the captain. The manager was a captain.
No way.
And so when you get these things, the captain's kind of like a photo op deal. It doesn't. No.
I agree. All right, next question. Bill Van Vago, is Anze Kopitar the best player you know of from a non-traditional hockey market? I remember Olaf Kolzig was South Africa and Steve Smith was Scotland. Frank
Baith.
I remember him. Dutch player, if I remember correctly.
He played for Philly. I'm trying to think. Well, I don't know if people know this, but the Dutch were an Olympic country in 80 and 80, 76 and 80. They were an Olympic. They had a lot of really good players, a lot of Dutch Canadians. Johnny Wensick, who was a tough cat, he and his cousin used to play over there. Like, they were good players. There were a lot of guys. Holland hockey was way different back then because they had so many good Dutch Canadians that were going over there and playing. And there was Eindhoven had good teams. Heerenveen had good teams. Groningen had good teams. Amsterdam had good teams. Like, I'm telling you, there were a lot of good players there. The best Dutch player that I knew was a guy named Ronnie Bertling. And I played against Ronnie. Ronnie is a really good player. He just never left. He never had the reason to. It's kind of like Kuhnackel. Kuhnackel came out of Germany. I don't know if you remember Tommy Kuhnackel's father. And Eric Kuhnackel was a father's name. He was sponsored by Adidas back then. So a German company, and they had the white skates with the black 3 lines. He was so good, dude. I'm telling you, he was a 6'6" center. He never would come over.
Yeah.
He would never leave Germany because he was making more money than what NHL players were making.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you so they're non-traditional. I don't know. I'd have to go look it up. But how about Nathan Walker out of Australia? He's playing in the NHL.
Yep. Nathan Walker. How about the aforementioned Jim Pack?
Jimmy was born in Toronto, but Korean. Yep.
All right, next question.
Good question. I like that one.
Yeah. Who do you like in U.S. versus Canada tomorrow? Keys to the game for both teams.
So I think U.S. will win the game. They played 4 times before the Olympics. Now, the Canadians are going to say they didn't play their A roster, and they probably didn't. But the Americans won all 4 games. Here's the one thing. I think Canada will play a 1-2-2 in the neutral zone. I watched them play the other day, and they kind of like to do that. So when you're playing against a 1-2-2, you got to have mobile defense that can attack it and jump in and make odd man rushes or create problems through the neutral zone. The Americans are 6 deep when it comes to that. All 6 of their defense can skate. And Jimmy, I built a pack. You saw it of how active their defense is, and that's how they win games. Their defense are so mobile and so active and so precise with their passing, they can break you down. So if Canada doesn't have a plan to take away that extra player jumping in the rush, the defense, that's going to be a problem. I think the Americans will win that game, but we'll see. It matters, but it doesn't matter as much as what the gold medal game is going to be.
All right, next question. Simone LeBlanc. Do you think Dobson should be in the D corps for Canada?
No, I do not.
Nope.
With all due respect, Simone, I do not.
All right, next question. Ian Scott Lewis, can you explain what reasoning there would be for the Habs not sending Bolduc to Laval for the Olympic break before waivers kicked in?
Waivers already did kick in.
Yeah.
So the problem is he's eligible for he needs waivers now.
Yeah.
He needs waivers now. So that's why. I thought if he didn't play enough games, if they would have sat him out, I would have sent him down, Jimmy, though. I would have sent him down during the break.
All right. That's it. And by the way, before we move on there about waivers and that, Bruins fans were up in arms, Pierre, that the Bruins put Poitras back down in Providence during the. I'm like, of course they want him to play. Well, they think it's like they don't like him or something. It had nothing.
So this is Harry Sinden started this a long time ago.
Yeah.
This is the Bruins started all this stuff. They would get to the break, All-Star break, and guys that were on 2A contracts, they would send them down so they didn't have to pay their NHL money.
Yeah.
And they would go down, like the Bruins did that. And people were encouraged by their owners, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. See what Boston did? Maybe we should think about that. So that started a long time ago, and it started in Boston.
There you go.
All I'm going to say.
All right. That's it for all our questions. Great questions as always.
Very
Thanks to all our viewers and listeners. Thanks to Shane working the boards up in Montreal. And by the way, I want to urge everybody to check out our new show on the Sick Podcast Network, the Sid Sixero Show.
I heard Sid was rocking today.
I heard it was rocking in the first episode. I saw some clips on Twitter. I didn't watch the whole thing. I'll have to check it out. But welcome aboard to Sid, to the family. So glad to have him aboard. And Pierre, a lot of hockey in store for you tonight?
Not tonight. No, not tonight. I'll do the bean pot. That's one game. That's manageable.
All right.
It's good. I'm pumped up for that. It'll be good. I'm going to switch on the Harvard game right after we hang up here, see how they're doing with Northeastern.
Sounds good, my friend. We will talk to you again here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network tomorrow.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.